All right, we're going live. Let's do this. Ah, we're live. Good morning, ladies. Oh my gosh. So I haven't told too many people this other than some calls I've been on this morning with my clients, but I spent the weekend up at the Cherry Creek Lodge. I posted a little bit about it last night when I got back, which is Sharon Lecter's farm. And we spent the weekend up there. There were a lot of bees, by the way. There are a lot of horses, a lot of cows, a lot of dogs, a lot of chickens. There were a couple of baby horses born while we, right before we had gotten up there, like by a day or two, and two mamas that were pregnant, ready to pop. So it was so
Oh,
nice to reconnect to the earth, to nature, have that just breathing that air. It just really helps you separate yourself from your business and the community and your family, everything, just to really connect in with the tribe that was there, really build those bonds and relationships, but reconnect with the earth. And I did a video on this, the word of the day today for nature. And I'm super excited to have a Member Monday spotlight where we're talking with Konni. It's so perfect because this is the bee queen right here, is Konni. Everything about her is bees, and she knows how deathly scared I am of bees. But today we're going to be talking about how bees teach us a lot about wisdom and how it helps us in our businesses. So Konni, first of all, welcome to your Member Monday Spotlight. And second, will you introduce yourself? Tell everyone where you're located and what you do for a living, and then what bees have taught you and how bees can teach us.
absolutely. So I am a reformed retail employee turned beekeeper about 8 years ago. And just to give you like just a little tidbit, I got divorced and I was working full-time hours as a part-time employee in retail at the time. And then when Obamacare rolled out, unfortunately, my hours got cut. So at that point, I was looking for something else and really kind of like needed something on the quick. So I had started, changing up my dietary habits and things like that, and was buying local honey from my local beekeeper because I had recently learned how healthy it was. And it was just kind of one of those symbiotic things. He had a helper that had found work elsewhere right at the time that I needed some work. So he was like, you want to come and help me do some things around the apiary and learn beekeeping. And I thought, oh, I can do this in the meantime. So about a year in, I was fully in love. I bought 3 of my own hives and invested, and that really started my journey. And 2 years ago, my mentor passed. So in 2020, I was really excited to start the year out, and I was like ready to go, started, all on my own. And as you guys know, the year did not turn out the way most of us expected. But it was a great year for bees and for beekeeping. And so now I am 2 years in, starting my second year completely on my own as a beekeeper, and 8 years beekeeping. And I make a full line of personal care products. I'm in the Chicago Northwest suburbs. I teach beekeeping. I teach some plant-based medicine classes, elderberry syrup, salve making. I do mentorships. I do online stuff. So I'm doing a whole lot of different things.
That's really awesome. So, like I said, you know that I don't understand the relationship between bees and humans. I'll just put it that way. So, explain to us what the bees have taught you. So, congratulations, first of all, on your success. It's amazing to me how we go from what we think we're meant to do, and then that shifts, and God works in mysterious ways and works through others and closes doors. And when doors are closed, other doors will open. And probably 10 years before that, you had no idea bees would be something in your future.
No, and I will tell you, like, I always loved bees, which is kind of fun. I mean, like, I have a bee book that my mother gave me when I was in grade school, but I truly never imagined that I would end up a beekeeper. So it's been a really fun journey. And of course, many of us know that bees are in trouble and that we really need bees. And of course, we know it from the aspect of like our food and that they contribute to our food. 1 in 3 bites, I think, is the number that a lot of people quote, come from bees, either through direct pollination or like they pollinate the food that our food eats. So for our cattle and things like that. And they also contribute a huge number to the United States economy, something like $8 billion. And so there's a lot of amazing benefits that we reap from bees through directly, either through pollination, through honey, or through the byproducts that they create. But what a lot of people, I think, miss is the piece that I get really excited about, which is just all the things that we learn from them because of the way that they have learned to do what they do in the world. So that's a piece that I've started talking a lot about in this last year, which is it's all the kind of secondary lessons and things that bees can even teach us about business, which is a fun topic because most people don't imagine that they can learn anything about business from bees.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, how the colonies work, right? So, and how they work together as a tribe. I probably don't need to mention this to anyone, but isn't there like one queen bee that is like in that colony?
There is one queen bee. Yes, one to a colony. And what's very interesting is, although most people think of, like with a queen, they think monarchy, it's actually not a monarchy. The beehive is actually a democracy. And they have really learned how to do what is in the best interest of the entire colony. So while there is only one queen, if they don't like the queen, they will create a coup inside the beehive, and they will actually create a new queen and get rid of the old one.
Wow. See, I am learning so much that I didn't know. And so that's interesting to me. And the other thing is, like, just the picture behind you shows how the bees, they go pollinate, then they come, and then how does it work with the honey? Like, I almost want to say, like, they deposit their honey and then they go out and then they come back and they deposit. How does it work? How does that whole?
Well, they go out and they get the nectar. They forage for nectar and for pollen. And the nectar they turn into honey, and the pollen they use to feed young bees. And the nectar, the way they turn it into honey is kind of gross to most people, like when they hear this description, but they pass it from bee to bee to bee. So basically they spit it into the next bee's mouth and they pass it on and pass it on. And that goes down the line. And each time they're kind of adding like stomach enzymes and things to it. And eventually they deposit it into the honeycomb. And then once it's in the honeycomb, they fan it to evaporate the excess water from it. And then once it's the right consistency, they know, and they put a little cap on it. And that's when it turns into the beautiful honeycomb that we then harvest and bottle.
Wow. So they are so smart, like super intelligent. And from going from B to B to B to B, it just kind of reminded me of like telephone, right? Like the information and businesses that we collaborate with and share with other businesses. So these bees are not in competition of each other. They must work together in harmony to create this beautiful end result.
Yeah, and to me, one of my favorite things that I learned about bees was that bees actually originally evolved from predatory ants. And essentially they became vegans and started living off of plant protein, which is the pollen.
Yeah.
And it's this beautiful, mutually beneficial relationship that they have with flowers that help them to evolve, like, I want to say before the time of dinosaurs until present day. And just there's always a little bit of magic in the beehive in the way that they do things. So for instance, bees, their average lifespan is 25 to 35 days. Well, people, kind of are surprised to hear that it's such a short lifespan, but yet in the winter, they can overwinter for like 3 to 6 months, they can stay alive. How? I don't know, but they do conserve their resources in the winter and are able to sustain their life longer, as so they can make it to springtime where they can start creating new bees and foraging again.
So give us just one example besides, I mean, we just said several on how, you know, bees have to work together and how they create this amazing end product. I had no idea that stomach enzymes were involved in the creation of honey. It's all new stuff that I'm learning. However, I do understand how healthy honey is, and especially fresh honey and finding local honey, and how important it is for any farm to have bees on their farm. Like there's a lot of their plants and things are in danger if there aren't the bees, right? So how in business have you correlated in your teachings for others a bee colony, and how we can use what they're doing as information for us to learn in business?
Well, again, just like the last example that I gave, having these mutually beneficial relationships, looking around where we can find that type of relationship. For me, in my business, what that looks like is I'm a renter, so I don't own land. So I have a farm that I've partnered with, and I provide them with pollination, and they provide me with a space to keep my beehives. And that is a wonderful, mutually beneficial relationship. And there's a lot that's coming out of that partnership for me and for them as well, because it's just a place where we can both really kind of like exhibit our values. You know, they are in a certified naturally grown farm, which is similar to organic. And I do like organic method beekeeping. So I don't use any chemicals on or around my farm. So we can both really kind of highlight each other as a business, and what we do and why we do it the way we do it, and have that type of relationship. Another one that I love is just how bees always have like a third more than what they need. So they really understand not to have excessive overhead. When the weather changes or anything external is different, they immediately adjust for that. So like COVID threw a lot of people a wrench that was unexpected for their businesses. You know, for me as a business person, I had to immediately adapt what I was doing and change it right away, not wait until, things in my business had collapsed. And bees do it the same way. They're very forward thinking. They know in advance. The minute that they sense that something is different, they're changing it up so that they don't have too much to care for in terms of bees in the hive without having proper resources.
So they're very instinctual. Very
Totally.
instinctual. So that is like a huge lesson we can learn today, because as women, especially, we all have those intuitions and those instincts. And we need to listen to those, because when red flags are going off and that alarm is going off for something that either a person you want to partner with or something you want to do, and you're just feeling like something's not right, something's not right.
Right.
And so you need to listen to your instincts. And that's a great lesson that we can learn today, which is listen to your instincts on telling you what to do. You know, if you're wanting to do something and it doesn't feel right, because they go by that instinct a lot. And the other thing is, sometimes you don't have time to sit back and wait. You have to be making decisions. So if we're listening to our instincts and it's telling us if it's right or it's wrong, that's going to help us make quicker decisions. Definitely. In our businesses. Yeah. And that's how they're able to be so successful. And I love the overhead piece as well, right? Not carrying so much overhead with us, because that could really hurt us, in our businesses, especially when things shift so quickly. Wow. I didn't have any idea how smart they were. None. I've learned so much today. You have no idea. I actually like bees a little bit more now.
Well, I'm convinced that I can get anybody to either, if not love them, have a healthy appreciation for them, because again, there's so much that we don't know. I'm 8 years in and I'm still learning every single day. So
I certainly have a healthy respect for the bees and what they do, and understand, their place here on Earth and why they're so important for the rest of what happens, around them with plants and the food that we eat and the pollination that happens. It's fascinating. So, Konni, how can people reach out to you? I know you provide a lot of products because I've bought your products. So you provide a lot of online products for people to purchase. Tell us what area you're locating in case anyone's listening in that area, maybe would want to visit you at a farmer's market or something like that, or be able to reach out to you.
Yeah, so I'm in the Chicago Northwest suburbs. I do several markets in the area. Probably the best way to find me is on my website, which is 3bees.net. It's got all my markets listed. We do have a few that have already started, and come June, we will be running 5, possibly 6 markets a month. So there's a lot of opportunities. And then obviously we've got some events that we're doing. I do presentations with live bees that are safe, and they're contained in a observation hive. So anything like that, all of that is on the website.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Konni, we'll have all of her information in the comment section below. So if any of you want to reach out, I would say definitely go check out her products. They're all made naturally. And she's just a wealth of knowledge. So she's would be a great speaker to come and talk in your business, talk to your employees about just the relationship, again, between bees and business. And how we can all learn from that. So Konni, thank you so much for not only being a member of Lead Up for Women, but really just putting yourself out there and being visible and caring so much about bees and educating others on, like you said, what our relationship is with bees and having that healthy appreciation for them. So thank you for all the education.
Thanks, Colleen. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and go see if you can spot some bees and just kind of sit and watch them for a while. That's a great time with it being spring, and go watch them and see what they're doing. I have bees and tons of bees in my backyard because I have tons of flowers in my backyard, but it's interesting to watch them work. So kind of maybe step back and sit and watch them in action. It would be something very interesting to behold this week. So thank you, Konni, so much. Everyone have a wonderful week. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.